Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mott. What we're going to do is go through a lab that's going to help us understand the relationship between polarity and solubility. So in front of us we've got several different liquids here. Hexane, this is petroleum ether. I've got some ethanol, methanol, and glycerol, otherwise known as glycerin. And then in these test tubes behind here, I've got a test tube that has I've already added a little bit of water to it. Now some of these liquids like the glycerin, the methanol, we added a color to them so it'd be easier to see if those solutions mixed. For the other ones that were colorless like the ethanol, I added a little bit of color to the water that's in here. So this is just water with some blue food coloring in it. All right. So what we're going to do is take these and mix them together. We can start off with the hexane, and I'm just going to squirt some of our hexane into our test tube here. Shouldn't have tightened that quite so much. There we go. Give that a little shake, and let's see. So we still see the two layers there, no matter how much I shake it. We still see the two layers here, so that hexane and the water are not soluble in each other. All right, go ahead and put that back. Try the same thing with our petroleum ether now. So here's our water with a little food coloring in it. Squirt in the petroleum ether. It doesn't really like to stay in the bottle there. Pour some in here, in fact. Okay. So give that a little bit of a shake. And we can see the two layers there as well. And so no matter how much I mix these and shake these, those two are not going to stay together. We see the two layers there as well. All right. Next we're going to do ethanol, otherwise known as ethyl alcohol. Okay. This is the alcohol that's in booze. All right, so mix that in there and give it a little shake. All right, and so as I look at this here, I am not seeing any layers. All right, so I would say that ethanol and water are soluble, and that makes sense if you consider like alcohol that's in booze. That's not 100% ethanol or ethyl alcohol. It is mixed with water for sure. All right. Next, we're going to do methanol, which we colored this greenish blue color. And then I left the water white, all right, or not white, but colorless. All right, so let's go ahead and mix these. All right, give it a shake. All right, and we can see that it is soluble in water. All right. In the production of booze and like stills, one of the first things that's made is actually methanol. If you ever watched the show Moonshiners, and so the methanol is produced at first, and they have to get rid of that, and then because that's really bad for you, can make you go blind or worse. All right, but anyway, methanol is soluble in water. Lastly, we're going to do the glycerin or the glycerol, okay, which we dyed green here, okay, and we'll add a little bit of that in here. So thick, it kind of just get some in there. There we go. All right, and we'll give this a little shake. All right, and when we're talking about solubility, we're talking about whether something will dissolve or not. We're not really speaking to how much it will dissolve. So we just want to know, in this case, will it dissolve, not necessarily how much. And what you can tell there by looking at it, the water has turned green. And so glycerin or glycerol is soluble in water. All right. Next, what we're going to do is take those things that were not soluble in water, like the hexane and the petroleum ether. We're going to see if we mix those together, will they dissolve in each other. All right. So that's what we'll do here. Take some petroleum ether. Okay, petroleum ether. And then we'll mix in some hexane. Okay, so we'll mix in the hexane here. Mix these around, see if they're going to be soluble in each other or they be in layers. All right. And so what we see here is I don't see any layers, so I would say they are soluble in each other. All right. Now, what we would also do in our lab, for instance, is also maybe look at and mix the other chemicals like the glycerin, the methanol, ethanol, mix those in hexane and also see if they reacted as well. What we're going to do, however, just kind of do this, shorten this up a little bit. And we'll try some ethanol, and we're going to see why in our lab analysis later. I'm going to take the ethanol, put that in this test tube here, and mix that with some hexane and see what happens. All right, so I've got my ethanol in the test tube, adding some hexane. All right, and no layers. All right, so what we see is that the hexane and the ethanol are soluble in each other, and that's unusual. We have a situation where ethanol, so water and hexane did not mix. Water and ethanol did mix, but ethanol, so the water and ethanol did mix. So what we can really tell is that the hexane and the water are not very similar because they didn't mix, but ethanol is soluble in both of them. And that's kind of unusual, and what we have to do to try to understand that is look at the structure of the molecule. Thanks for watching.